Hello. Why are you here? You aren't really supposed to be here right now. I thought I sent the memo. The animatronics aren't really here right now. But I did see that there was a little guy with a plant on his head. I guess you can try to entertain them?
What the fuck? Where is this guy, bro? The phone guy said he was gonna be walking around. Oh, there he is.
Well, what are you doing here? What the heck? You're not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, this is my new job. I became an animatronic. What do you mean humans can't be animatronics? Of course they can. They always can be. Here, you know what? Let me show you that humans can be an animatronic. So in this video, I'm gonna make animatronics into humans. Yes, you heard me right. I'm gonna make animatronics into humans because, well, I can, and also because this has been done around the internet a while now, since back in like 2014 to 15 when the game first released. So I wanted to do something similar where I do FNAF characters into humans, but in my own twist. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Five Nights at Freddy's. Obviously, Freddy is in the name. Freddy is one of the big characters in all of FNAF. So I need to have him, well, perfect. I need to just get the design, nail it, and I think I did pretty good. I really like this design. My whole look towards Freddy is that he feels more like elderly compared to everybody else, so I gave him more of an elder look. Wait, before I tell you anything about my designs, I want to tell you about, well, FNAF. Fazbear Entertainment Company, the company behind FNAF in the universe, is kinda not good. They're pretty cheap. So I wanted to encapsulate that in my designs. I want my design to be as, like, I guess, patchworky as possible. So in most of the designs, you'll see little like patches on their clothes and stuff like that that just, well, wouldn't be there if they were actually well maintained. So that's all I want to like say. Okay, back to the time lapse. Alright, now actually making him elderly wasn't that much of a big task. I just needed to get the colors right. Obviously, he's more, well, on the brown. Obviously he's a bear, so I wanted to maintain that little aspect and have him have little like bear motifs to him. Give him like his top hat and also the little bear ears, and that's it. Obviously, you know, have to maintain everything, but here you go. What do you guys think? Personally, I really do like this design, but that's just me. Now let's go to the second character. Foxy, the pirate of the crew. You know, obviously Foxy's a lot different compared to like, well, Freddy and Chica and, well, Bonnie. He's kind of not in the main stage, he's separate from the stage. So for this one, I wanted to give him more of a little bit of a flair to him. A pirate flair that nobody else will have in this entire history. That's a lie. Maybe someone else too. Wait, one more time. Sit down real quick. Let me tell you about the design that I came up with for Foxy. So, Foxy is already, well, Foxy. He's super fast, so obviously I want him to be on more of the light side, more lighter than Freddy, let's say. He's more supposed to be like a little pirate that runs around and is kind of not in the right mind, so I made him more of like an alcoholic, you know? Someone who's, well, drinking a lot isn't really already in their right mind, so, you know, that works. Keeping in with the whole Foxy motifs, I feel like he obviously needs to have the eye patch, but having like the little mustache, the evil little mustache that he has, adds on to the effect, and plus, it looks like the little tufts on the side of his head. Alright, now back to the time lapse. Continuing with Foxy, obviously you have to have, well, the whole pirate aspect. So I searched up a bunch of references for pirates, and obviously a good amount showed up. Sadly on Pinterest, most of them were AI, but I did get good inspiration so I could keep the little pirate theme that he had going on, and also, you know, keep the color scheme. He has a different color scheme than a normal pirate, I should say. I also wanted to add like little rips and like a little bit of dishevelness, because Fazbear Entertainment isn't a really good company, so even though he's one of the entertainers, he wouldn't really have something like that accessible that's really nice. But here's the final design. What do you guys think? Personally, this one I do really like. I like hearing the feedback from all like the comments, so if you can give some ways I can, well, make this design a little bit better. But yeah, When it came to Chica, I kinda knew what I wanted. I wasn't too sure, but at the same time, I was sure. Like, I knew that I wanted to have her more like eating, obviously, you know, that's her whole gimmick. She eats human bodies or any type of really like thing. So in this like AU, I wanted her to be more on the playful side, obviously, and not be too much on the carnivore side, I guess. Obviously, I could go a lot of different ways or little mechanics and go into like how her body type will be different compared to other ones, but really, I just felt that like a little bit of a somewhat in the middle will work perfectly for me, at least. I think that Chica would be like more on the obviously not really healthy considering that she eats a lot, but also pretty fit considering that she also runs and has to carry a lot of things, especially her cupcake. And that's where my dilemma is. The cupcake. I wasn't too sure if it was going to be a human or just, well, a cupcake, right? I obviously chose the cupcake just for like, well, the look of it, but the whole point of this video is that I'm making animatronics into humans, so in reality, that would be a human as well. Alright, now, well, let's get into her actual design. Why did I make these little design choices? First, I really do like, let's say, the apron, right? Obviously, she already has an apron, but what would even tie it a little bit better would be a little, well, I guess another apron at the bottom tied around her waist. Obviously, that works much better than, well, just having a normal apron saying let's eat. It just works a lot better in my opinion. But then stuff with like her little, I guess, leg warmers, let's start off with. Her leg warmers, that's more of a creative freedom that I felt that was actually gonna, well, translate really good to the design, which in my opinion it did. It makes her look a little bit more kawaii, you know. I really like that little aesthetic that I really put in a lot of my character designs, to be honest. But another thing that I also do like is like her nose. Obviously Chica is little like chicken, you know, obviously big duck nose, or not duck nose, but chicken like beak. So her nose being like a little bit more, I guess, on the longer side, just perfect, works immediately. To round off the design, I just needed the color scheme. The color scheme on Chica is just orange, white, and yellow, which, to be fair, is okay, obviously makes sense, but I wanted a little bit of a more different color scheme. Add more oranges, a little bit more purples, a little of like confetti effects, so there's a little bit of, well, a pattern, so it breaks up the whole just emptiness of the design. So that's basically the direction that I went with. I decided to add more yellows, oranges, things that will just make sense. Like having the yellow shirt with like, I guess, a darker, well, orange skirt is just a little better in my opinion. That's just me though. I don't know how other people feel about it. I mean, personally, I really like this and I'm the artist, so I could really care less. I don't mean that in like a really condescending way. I just really like the design. Compared to my other ones, I think this one's my strongest one, and I just really like it a lot. This is like one of my favorite ones. But I know a lot of people have different opinions. Feel free to leave them in the comments like I said before, but we're gonna move on to the next character. Bonnie. To round off all the designs, Bonnie was the one that I really struggled with. I didn't really have an exact plan for him. I just knew I wanted something kind of similar to it. Well, most designs. Obviously, keep the like little suit aspect because most designs really have that, and well, Bonnie has a little bow tie, so kind of aligns with it. But what I really struggled with was his hair. His hair was giving me the most trouble. I redid this design like twice, and now I really do like his hair. I finally figured out what type of like style I wanted, but originally it was really hard for me. Most designs on the internet have his hair like really long, so I wanted to kind of stray away from it, have it somewhat of a medium length, but not like full on really flowy and long, or like tied in a ponytail. I wanted him to have more puffy hair. I wanted him to be, I felt like this, well, kind of correlated better with the color palette, since he's more on the, well, darker pigmented. He would have more of like a contrast, let's say, to the rest of the design. With such a bright design, I would like to break it up with like a little bit of blacks and like a little bit of browns, stuff like that, to just make it cohesive, make it work. At the end, I settled with this whole like checkered pattern on his little vest and called it quits. Honestly, I really do like this design. The pattern breaks up the little bit of like, I guess, how empty it looks if it doesn't have a pattern. Stuff like that just works with this design. So, I really like it. What do you guys think? That's basically it. That's all the designs. So, yeah, I kinda lied. Golden Freddy is the actual final design of this video. He's the original Fazbear, you know? So in terms of, well, as a human, I would like to make him the oldest one, but I kinda strayed away from that. I went for more of a disheveled homeless look, where he's obviously not kept up to date and is more dirty and destroyed, so I wanted to convey that in this design. I made it more with like a little bit of a mutton chops on the side, you know, keep the black inverted eyes, and just make him overall just kinda destroyed. Not really having nice clothes, all ripped, they're not patchworked back together like the rest of the cast. Just make him disheveled. Out of all the designs, I have to say, this one's probably my least favorite, just in terms that, well, Golden Freddy is kind of boring. He's just a carbon copy of normal Freddy, just golden. And yeah, technically he is the original Freddy, but I just don't mess with it. I don't like it. I don't really like it as much. Besides that, the color palette is pretty easy, it's just yellow and black, so I tried to introduce some more brown into the color scheme just to break up the design, you know, make it more cohesive than just yellow and black. It's, well, kinda boring if it's just those two colors. So I divided them to two different yellows, two browns, and one black. So, I mean, personally, I do really like that. It just works much better. And here it is, the final design for Golden Freddy.
What the hell did I just watch? Ah! Ah! Help! Help!
Okay, bye now!